podcast, the only podcast called the Never Seen It podcast that's worth listening to. There are other podcasts out there, and look, we're not stopping you from listening to those other podcasts called Never Seen It. But here's the thing, on none of those shows will you get Mr. Arnie, the one-man party, Arnold Callego. Mr. Alex Callego, aka Filipino Grigio, aka Daily Dares, Mr. Justin Holden, aka Ships is on. Of course, Mr. Donnie Guzman, aka Donnie Appleseed. I'm gonna get it. Don't worry. One of these days. And then there's me, of course, Adrian Del Toro, aka Boots Too Big on the social webs. And what are we talking about tonight, guys? We're talking about the 2006 film Pan's Labyrinth.
There will be secrets that reveal her destiny.
Directed by Guillermo del Toro. Living with her tyrannical stepfather in a new home with her pregnant mother, 10-year-old Ofelia feels alone until she explores a decaying labyrinth guarded by a mysterious faun who claims to know her destiny. If she wishes to return to her real father, Ofelia must complete 3 very terrifying tasks that are too spooky for me to do. And I believe, Donnie, you chose this movie, and I believe you're the only one that hasn't seen it. You and Arnold, right?
No, I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why did you choose? This is a great movie, by the way. Why did you choose this one?
Well, you know what? It was one of those movies that I really liked when I was younger, when I first watched it. But I think I liked it for different reasons. Like at that time, I was into, I was like a graffiti artist and was really into art, and I thought it was very like visually appealing. But I didn't understand like the meaning of it, and so it's kind of like when you first watch like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and you like the story, you like the plot, but then you rewatch it as an adult and you realize how dark it is, how dark the story it is. But it's kind of like that for me. But yeah, I rewatched it and still love it, but for different reasons, more in depth now. So
yeah, this movie it's so dark, but it does have, I guess, what I would call a happy ending. I mean, you know, we'll get into it, I'm ssure. By the way, tonight's episode, brought to you by Habit Burger. Habit Burger. When you're here, your family. No, I'm kidding. That is a delicious. Which one did you get this time, Arnold?
Today's deal was a buy one get one free char burger. So char burger with cheese. Yeah. So good.
So good. I love that you're always eating when we record, by the way. That's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's funny because like the rest of us always do it either before or after. And you're the only one that seems to do it during.
I don't want anybody to watch me eating, you know, so I'll never be doing that on the show.
Arnold, just start a mukbang.
Yeah.
He's a growing boy.
Join the mukbang while
what do they do?
We did the episode.
I just learned what that meant this year. Like I was like, what the? I've seen it
really?
all over the place. I didn't know what it meant.
Dude, those mukbangs where they eat like
the crunchy
fish, like
the
jellyfish
crunchy sound that they do.
Where they eat like live squid and shit. Oh my god. I didn't know that Guillermo del Toro did Blade 2. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God, he's done so many good movies. Pacific Rim. I like both Pacific Rim movies. I think he only did the first one. That one was good.
I never heard of Pacific Rimming.
I usually skip that part of the video, right, Arnold? No, it's a good movie though. You should watch Pacific Rim. That's a Hellboy.
Just Pacific Rim.
Yes, Pacific Rim.
Oh no,
the original.
I thought I heard it wrong.
Yeah, but so interesting choice, Donnie. Who hasn't seen it then? Was it you, Arnold? You're the only one that. Okay, and Alex. Okay,
not just me.
Not just.
Oh, Alex, you never seen it? I'm surprised.
It's been on my list forever, but I loved it so much. I found it at Book Off today for $2.
Nice.
So I rented that shit, and I knew I had it, and Justin asked to borrow it, and I found it after I have it now. I have the copy now. I was like, I don't know where it is.
And I thought I had it, and so I guess I didn't either. I like went through all my movies. I'm like, oh, I guess I thought I had it, but I guess I don't.
Yeah, I searched high and low at Book Off, and I was like, man, they don't have it in any format. And then I went to the the bargain section, and I found it for like $2. So
That is a bargain. That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what, Del Toro? I feel like he's a more adult version of Tim Burton because I'm looking at his movies, and it's like he's done the kind of movies that Tim Burton would do, but like more adult versions, right? And it's
That's
such
like
an
the perfect
interesting
way to
career.
describe him. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just hit me because I guess he's doing a Frankenstein movie. Is that true?
Yes,
With
yes, he is.
Oscar
That's
Isaac.
pretty cool.
Well, I love Oscar Isaac. Mia Goth, of course. Christoph Waltz, amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. But enough about that. Let's talk about the movie itself. So Arnold, I'll start with you. You hadn't seen it. You just are fresh off the presses, right? What did you think, Arnold? What's the first thing that came to your head, Arnold?
Oh, okay, yeah. I finished it about 13 minutes ago, and my food arrived about 11 minutes ago. Gosh.
Now, do you sync the kind of meal you're going to eat with the kind of movie you're going to watch? Is there any creativity to that? There, or is it just whatever
No,
falls in your lap?
it's usually dictated by whatever the deal is on the app, and the habit's been coming through with a lot of really good deals. You know, last week was, I forget what it was, and so today with the buy one get one free, it was like mine as well. You know,
Chicken club.
last week it was a free chicken club.
There you go.
But the movie, I had no idea what to think of it. Like I saw the picture, I was like, oh, it was like a monster looking dude on the cover. Well, like on the screen, and so I had no idea. I didn't even read what the synopsis or like summary of what the movie is. I just rented it, jumped on, and went for the ride. And what a great ride it was. Kind of, I love adventure. You know, like Goonies. It almost felt like, okay, yeah, you have
Dark
these
Goonies.
These,
World War One era Goonies.
Yeah, not your grandfather's Goonies.
Which
Oh, yeah,
character
I
would
know.
be considered Data?
The Doctor? No,
Yeah.
Pedro. Pedro.
It's like a Dark Chronicles of Narnia, don't you guys think? It's like,
Yeah.
similarities.
Goonies was probably not a good example or something to.
It's a good
compare to.
analogy. It's a good analogy. Analogy.
It's a real interesting analogy.
Yeah.
Analogy.
Nice try. Nice try.
Good one, pal.
You know what I always thought this movie kind of had a blend of, and we've like been through a bunch of like Alice in Wonderland type movies as of late. I always
What does
thought
that say about us?
a blend of Alice in Wonderland meets Anne Frank.
That's a good way to put it. I know Alice in Wonderland was one of the inspirations behind the movie.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, I admit it. I've never seen Alice in Wonderland.
What? What are you serious?
Yeah, not even
crazy.
the original, like the Disney cartoon.
Oh, it's a Disney movie?
Well, it is, right? Am I going crazy? I think it is.
Not
Have you
original.
ever ridden the ride at Disneyland, the Alice in Wonderland Disneyland ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Before that, it was like through the
You go to
looking glass.
Disneyland so much.
You never.
Yeah. You never rode the ride. It's next to the teacups. Have you rode the teacups?
I thought
What
that was just
a
like,
fake fan. What a fake fan.
I go there more for California Adventure. What are you talking about? I like
Yeah.
the food over there.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's more Arnold coded for sure.
Like go there for the jam clowder, you know?
The clam chowder.
The jam clowder. Yeah.
See, I've never had clam. See, we got to do a never eaten it podcast because I've never had clam chowder. Is it good? Yeah, I know.
chowder?
Are
No,
you
so
not a seafood fan?
I mean, I like bait, like kid shit, like fish sticks and fried fish stuff, and like I like that. Not like real. I like sushi. I guess that's
I mean,
the closest thing.
If you like
There's some
sushi,
grittiness though.
what? For
There's some grittiness to it, right? Like it tastes like oceany, like clam chowder. Yeah. So I don't know if you would like that.
It's just a potato soup with clams in it.
That doesn't sound bad.
I mean,
I
if you like fish and sushi, it's it's kind of got like those textures of when you like eat into like say, do you like eel?
No,
Okay.
I'm a big texture person, and eel looks really slick and rubbery, and I couldn't do it.
Oh, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely
So
not.
then you
Well,
probably won't like.
Probably not.
Well, what about
cheddar.
like is
How about
eel?
lengua? Do you eat lengua?
I was just gonna ask you: is
Ooh,
eel
I love
have the
lengua.
same texture as lengua? Because I don't like lengua. I
No.
can't do
Adrian,
it.
Oh man,
do
I
you
love
like
lengua.
ligma?
No, it's
Ligma what?
You got
I don't
me.
think it's the same. It's not the same texture. But
No.
it is.
Yeah, no,
there is
the
a
eel-
weird texture to it.
eel
You
is
know-
a little like slightly more like less flaky than like a fish, but it's
Okay.
got like it's kind of got an oily richness to it.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks I don't know. It looks weird. It looks
You know,
rubbery.
I
It's
will have to
rubbery.
say that whether you have lengua, eel, clams, steak, if you bring that to Gilroy, just hang that meat out there, let that meat just chill out there, man. It's gonna be so good. You gotta have
The
that
city of
little
Gilroy,
garlic
California,
flavor.
is gonna have to start paying us for every
Dang.
mention.
Yeah, it's just gonna be all rotten meat hanging out there. Arnold
Yeah.
eating
Oh
rotten meat.
no! There's something in the garlic that actually it's healthy for you. You know, because garlic is very healthy for you.
Yeah,
And
garlic is supposed to be pretty healthy for you, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's not
Not
an
if you slather it
antiseptic,
with
Arnold.
butter
Are you
or
washing yourself with it or something?
yeah, he's doing
Yeah,
the whole.
have you seen what happens when you do?
Arnold, do you take a horse
Yeah,
bath
you get
with garlic?
stinky.
You just.
You get
But enough
stinky.
about that.
Oh yeah. Enough
Well,
about
so,
that.
so hold on.
Yeah.
So this is a Spanish movie.
Yeah. Oh,
Now, see,
yeah.
here's what I find interesting because Guillermo del Toro, and I say that with the because why not? He is Mexican, but he cast Spanish, like from Spain actors, and I thought that was very interesting. I know it takes place in Spain. I just thought it was interesting, like some of the fantasy characters who are not humans speak with a very heavy Spanish accent, like the faun especially. And I was like, I thought it was funny that he specifically hired Spanish actors for everything. But
You know what's funny? The faun, the actor that played the faun, was the only person on set that didn't speak Spanish, so he had to learn everything that he said, and also had to learn Ophelia's lines so he knew when to respond properly.
Oh,
It's kind
my
of weird.
God.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And you know what's funny about that is that he learned Spain Spanish because he has the Spanish lisp. Like he must have had a coach that was from Spain because there's no
He did?
way it was
Yeah.
Mexican Spanish. Yeah,
They had somebody on site.
that's so funny.
I didn't notice that.
España.
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 Yeah, that's why. Yeah, Spain Spanish is weird. But no, how was that, Arnold? Like, I'll go back to you really quick.
Yeah, sorry.
How did that affect your viewing of it? Watching a movie in another language that you don't necessarily know.
Sorry. So when I put it on, I was like, "Oh, damn! This is all okay." Subtitles. I legit. I paused it for a second, and I just sat there. I was like, come on, you can do this. You can read. All right.
Two days, dude.
It was like 8 seconds, and so then I did it. I was like, all right. It wasn't bad at all. And I think if I'm gonna watch a movie with subtitles, I would like to know ahead of time and be mentally prepared. Just like with a lot of other things, just.
I mean, we did Serbian film. That was, you had to read that.
Yeah, I fell asleep for about 45 minutes on that one. But the discussion was great. And
discussion was top tier. I think that's actually one of the better discussions we've had. I mean, we've had a lot of great discussions, but I think that's up there because if it makes you uncomfortable, and this movie also has some very uncomfortable moments. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Alex, go ahead, Arnold.
I was gonna say, because I'm just freshly still digesting it, and so I was just gonna say I was gonna rely on you guys to help me to digest it. Unlike, a lot of times when I eat a heavy meal, I'll have some food enzymes, help me digest some food.
Arnold, you better be getting us some money for all these product placement, man.
I was gonna say,
Right.
no free pub on this show.
No, it's just something I always have on hand. Just like my wave watch. It's
Your wave
Yeah,
watch,
like my Vaughn's brand Mio.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Alex, so I want to say, first of all, I love the shirt, by the way. It's very colorful.
$6 off of Depop. There's a product
oh,
placement right
see,
there.
that's a good plug. See, that's a good plug. So this is the first time you saw it. Yeah. What are your initial thoughts after having watched it?
So my initial thoughts, it takes from a lot of fairy tales, and I really like that a lot because it was like kind of like kind of we were like how you were trying to describe that style and a lot of his styles for his films. I feel like he does play a lot into fairy tales, and I was kind of reading up on that, and you know, there was an article that I read where they kind of compared how this movie in particular they he used like obviously like Justin mentioned Alice in Wonderland, or was it you, Adrian? I'm not really sure. But
I
like,
mentioned it, yeah.
but
It was
it was you. Um, they obviously Ophelia, the like when she gets the dress, it's obviously taken from Alice in Wonderland. Uh,
I
at the
didn't pick
very
up on
end,
that, but that's a good. Yeah.
yeah, and
Or
at the
even
very end,
the red shoes
yeah, at the very
from
end,
Wizard of
yeah,
Oz.
from Wizard of Oz. Um, but it was also a lot. One of the things that they were talking about was so Walt Disney, he took a lot of public domain um, fairy tales, and that's what he based a lot of his original films from, right? And but they were he really went heavy on the patriarchal sort of emphasis on these fairy tales, right? He like and it was like even back then it was kind of uh, kind of obsolete, that sort of like thing. Things are already kind of going towards like a different direction. But like, but in those fairy tales, the way that they're done, it's almost like a lot of obedience. You know, a lot of like, you follow the rules, and then you get to here, and then whereas like the cool thing about this was, especially when I was thinking about where it takes place during after the Spanish Civil War. Was it the Spanish Civil War?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the historical period.
Yeah. So it takes place shortly after the Spanish Civil War, where like the Captain Vidal is trying to extinguish a lot of the residual dissidents, right? And um, but it kind of teaches you to disobey, in terms of like when you watch like a fairy tale, it's like follow the rules and then you'll get this, and then it'll be happily ever after at the end. Whereas like in this, you see a lot of disobedience, and like a lot of times you don't really, what do you call it? When you disobey, it's like sometimes you're doing it just to see what you can get out of it, right? Or what the results will, because like you see when Ophelia's eating off the table, eating the grapes when she's told specifically not to, right? And nothing comes good of it, right? Like she's eating it, but and then the faun is like, you disobeyed me. You're not gonna, you're not gonna see your father. And then he still comes back and gives her a second chance. And that's one of those things where what I got out of it was like disobedience in terms of like anything you do doesn't necessarily mean the results will be bad always, but not always good. Not good either. It's just kind of one of those things where it's about like what you're truly fighting for. And then if you look at it, she makes it to the father, but like she ends up dying. But we knew she was gonna die because she's like right at the very beginning, she dies. And but yeah, that was the big takeaway from it. It was like civil disobedience, is what they are kind of like one of the major themes in this film.
I'm
For
sorry.
sure.
I didn't know that she was gonna die. What was the giveaway?
It was the
The
very
very
beginning.
beginning. The start of the film, bro.
Oh,
After
you know
the
what?
opening credits, it was her
There was a
standing
sentence
like
that.
that,
Oh, you know what?
rolling camera.
I saw that part because I had just started, and then okay, I probably should have rewinded it right there because I didn't know what I read. I didn't know what was on the screen.
Yeah,
So
I said,
I
I'm
missed
going to
that.
die by the end of this movie.
Whoops.
Apparently, from all the blood that's like reverse going back into my head, because that's not natural.
Yeah.
That was
No,
that was all in that sentence.
No, you know what? She choked on a piece of garlic, bro. That's what did her in. But just a big chunk of garlic. She didn't do the smash thing, where you smash in the skin comes off. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It'll
because
get you.
I understand the flavor when you do that, the flavor comes out. Whereas if you try and swallow it whole, it's kind of masked, and that thing can get stuck in your throat.
Exactly.
Choke.
We wouldn't want that to happen, would we, Arnold?
No, sometimes people. I'm just gonna continue eating my freshly tossed salad.
No, but what did you guys, speaking of food, the banquet hall scene that you mentioned, Alex, with the pale man, when the first time I watched that's one of the scariest fucking things I've ever seen in a movie. That was such a that scene still gets me to this day.
Dude, that whole scene was inspired. Have you guys ever seen that painting called Saturn Devouring His Son? I just saw it like in real life. Like I literally just saw it in New York when I went to the museum. So that's where he got that from, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's such a great painting too. It's so
that is.
It's just so fucking dark.
I know. That's like really great painting. I want to see that
You
again.
You want
You want to get a print of it and put it over your bed, Arnold? Is that what you want?
You know what? Carla would hate you if you did that. She would not want to look up and see, oh shit, what is that shit? Why is he where's his head?
You should get a print of it for Mia for her birthday. She'll love it.
Yeah.
I'll
Anyway,
just draw it for her. That would be like art day.
But Justin, let's go to you. Let's go to you next.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, man, what's going on? Hey, you're wearing white today, just like Arnold. Did I miss?
I'm wearing my midsummer shirt.
Your midsummer shirt. Oh, the movie.
Midsommar.
That's such a good movie too. Yeah. What were your? I mean, you've seen it. We've all seen it. But what scene? What moment stands out to you?
I think one of my favorite scenes, and this is probably kind of brutal for me, is when the captain is just stabbing that guy's face numerous times, and the camera doesn't cut away at all. I'm like, oh man, that's such a cool fucking scene. Yeah. I always liked Guillermo del Toro's like lighting in movies and his style. You can tell it's his movie just by the style. I think the only movie that he kind of went away from his stylistic choices was like Pacific Rim, where that was more like, sci-fi, which is interesting, like compared to everything he does. He does like old school, like Village Tale, style environments and things like that. A lot of it's like browns and gold. I like his, and then his lush reds and other colors. I know he loves using like red and gold a lot in a lot of his movies, and you can kind of see like him finding his style even back in like the Devil's Backbone era, where you can see he finally is getting like grasp of what his style is and owning it. So I also and it's like a theory that's out there. I don't know like how much of a theory it is, but a lot of people say that there is like a little connection with like some of his movies, especially ones leaning into like the fairy tale stuff, even Hellboy, where they're all like a shared universe kind of thing. Like these characters exist within the same world, although never ever like meeting each other.
I can see that, especially with like the Shape of Water.
Yeah,
similar aesthetic, creature design wise to Pan's Labyrinth, I think. He also did Mimic. Remember that movie from the 90s?
Oh yeah, Mimic was really good.
Yeah, that was another. He loves creature features, but he does like
Yeah.
elevated creature features. Like he does. It's not just like dumb campy. It's like
Yeah,
there's
they're
always
sick.
depth to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
He said
and
some of this-
even. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, he said that like, I was reading that some of this character design came from nightmares that he has had as a kid, from Pan's Labyrinth monsters at least. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, wow.
creepy, right? Yeah,
That is
believe
creepy.
I could probably do that with some of my nightmares.
Yeah, I bet you dream of garlic monsters chasing you at night, pieces of meat hanging from the rafters.
So
I don't know
maybe
what I'm
some other
talking
shape
about
monsters.
anymore. I'm cutting all this conversation out, by the way. No, the real terrifying thing, though, to me, let's talk about Captain Vidal, because that is, to me, I think one of the best fucking villains ever put to screen. The guy is so evil. He just personifies evil. What did you guys? Yeah, I'll just open this to the room. What did you guys think about that guy? What a fucker.
Right off
I
the
think
bat.
he was like scarier than the monsters. Like
Yeah.
he was he was fucking creepy, dude. Yeah, what an asshole.
like right off the bat, he's all looking at his watch and he's like, 15 minutes late. I was like, oh, that's not the type of boss I want.
Wouldn't you agree though that like
Hashtag relatable.
wouldn't you agree though that like that's the whole point though? Like the real life monsters are the people that are just like, they're not
Micromanagers.
scary.
Oh,
Yeah,
Micromanagers.
Michael, yeah, that is the scariest kind of boss to have.
Yeah,
No,
but I mean,
but,
in real world like situations, yeah, it's like I'd much rather face like a fantastical monster. At least like, if I'm gonna fight a fantastical monster, I'm gonna live or die. Whereas like the prince, like Captain Vidal, just wants to like take away all our rights and see us starve and things like that.
Wait,
Well, that
a
was
guy
part-
in a
that was-
position of power who wants to take away our rights? That's purely science fiction.
Wow.
That'll never happen.
I say like that's a lot of what the movie's about, right? Like she creates this like fantasy world. Well, we don't really know because there's a lot of crossover, but it's like she does that to escape what's really happening in real life, right? But there's
Yeah.
a lot of like symbolism behind that, and that ties into the real world and what she's actually experiencing. But it's kind of like her coping mechanism.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
I
the
know
funny thing. Here's the funny thing about that. People will say that it's a coping mechanism, but in reality, like, okay, so remember at the very end, he's chasing her through the labyrinth, right? But remember, she poisons or puts that that stuff in his drink, so maybe his reality is being like distorted. So when he gets to the end
That's true.
of the thing, and he doesn't see the faun, he's like, maybe that's his imagination, that it's not really there. Maybe the faun does
I love
exist.
I love how Del Toro kind of like leaves it open for interpretation because we don't know, right? Like it's crazy. Like, but that's great. I never heard that perspective, but I like that.
I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that.
That
What's
is
a faun, by the way?
A deer.
It's like a
Desert.
I was
not
gonna say
desert,
a flying
forest.
thing.
It's like a forest
deer, though.
creature with like deer-like features.
Tendencies.
You know what I thought? Oh, here's one of my thoughts. I was like, okay, the movie Pan's Labyrinth, and then like the picture as a faun, and I was like, how do they get Pans and faun? Oh, maybe it was a Filipino that created the movie Pan's Labyrinth, but it was by Benicio del Toro. So
Who here knows more Tagalog between the three of you?
Probably me.
Probably you. Okay.
Yeah, Donald.
yeah. And then
How
me
do you
second.
say, Donnie? How do you say I don't know in Tagalog?
Hindi ko alam.
Hindi ko alam.
Hey,
Oh, you're
Donald.
asking Donald.
Hey, Donald, how do you say that's a stretch in Tagalog?
That's a what?
That's a real stretch in Tagalog.
I don't know how to say that. Actually, I don't know how to say stretch.
Yeah, because in the Latino world, people who don't speak Spanish are called no sabo ass kids. Like no sabo. So Tagalog, it would be. How do you say it again? How do you say?
Say what again?
How do you say I don't know in Tagalog?
Oh, hindi ko alam.
Hindi ko alam, kids. They don't speak. I'm curious. In Filipino culture, do people who don't speak Tagalog that well get a lot of shit by their elders?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
There's always shit talking about it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the weird thing is like when like Arnold and I, our grandparents, they didn't want us to learn Tagalog because they thought
Yeah.
we would have a hard time learning in school
English.
as we
Yeah.
in learning. In
I guess
school
there's two different, like, it just depends on the upbringing, right? Because my ex also, it was the same for her. Like, the dad was learning English, so English wasn't to be spoken in the household. Whereas me, I was raised by my grandma and she didn't speak English, so I didn't learn English until I was in kindergarten.
Yeah, same for me in Spanish and English. But I sorry for that side tangent. I was just curious about that. But yeah, going back to General, is it General? What did I call him? Captain Vidal? I don't even remember anymore.
Captain Vidal.
Captain Vidal. Yeah, what a fucking asshole.
Vidal Sassoon.
A lot of like zombie movies and shows will do that, where like the zombies aren't the scariest part of the story. That it's always the human characters that are the most evil and scary aspect of the film, and I feel like he really captured that here, because while the Pale Man is a fucking scary ass creature, they all pale in comparison. See what I did there? To Captain Vidal being so fucking evil. Thanks, Arnold. Arnold, you got my back. You always got my back. I can always depend on you.
You know it.
But yeah, what else? I mean, there's so much. I was reading a little bit earlier that people have sort of said that this is kind of they sort of compare it to Catholicism, like Catholic lore. Like there's a lot of parallels there.
I heard you basically shits on Catholicism in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
he's like,
yeah. What can you specifically name? Because I grew up Catholic, but I didn't really catch that, if I'm being honest. The anti-Catholic.
you mean like what about the Catholicism?
like what was it about that they were sort of?
I think that's like the Pale Man represents like the fascism and the church, like how the church eats kids and perversely with like an abundant banquet in front of them. Like it's just like it's the movie's about fascism, right? And then so it tying back to what Alex was talking about, how Ofelia resists like authority and like makes her own choices and takes a stand against fascism in all forms. And I think that's really what the movie's about.
That's a great point, especially since Vidal spends half the movie being a dick and then the other half chasing after rebels and shit. And then he kill the one rebel at some point. They capture a rebel.
Oh, the stutterer? The one that stutters?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that always made me feel bad for the guy because he had the stutter. But then he gets fucking shot in the face. Do you really go into the ending now, really quick? The guy shoots him right here, and you see, and obviously it's a great visual effect. You see his eyeball start bleeding, and then he fucking rolls back. I never saw that before. I was rewatching that scene tonight, and I know I never seen that before. The bullet gets him right here, and his fucking eyeball starts swelling up, and he just fucking. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah,
that was a great little.
Yeah.
That was a great little moment.
I did not catch that actually.
Yeah, I never catched it either.
When, like
interesting.
I've seen this movie a few times, and I remember on the first time watching it, like the focal point is the bullet hole in his fucking cheek. I didn't notice it either, and then when I watched it like a few times,
it's very subtle.
Like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, his eye just like
it just like
rolls up.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And I had to rewatch, and I was like, oh shit, that's such a good little detail.
Yeah, it makes sense that it would do that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good little details in the kills, like and I think I appreciate that the camera doesn't like turn away, go to a different scene. It's just ruthless. It's like there's like a lot of brutalism in between all the fantasy.
Yeah, he doesn't pull his punches in this movie. I mean, the girl gets shot in the end. They don't show her getting shot. It happens like right out of frame, but like the first time I watched it, I was like, wow, he's really not fucking around here. Like I thought this was going to be more of a traditional fantasy where, she survives, and in a way she does survive, right? Because she goes on to the other world, the fantasy world that they've been showing this whole time. She's like the princess or whatever.
Princess of the Underworld.
Princess of the Underworld.
Yeah.
Which is a great title for a goth album or something.
They should do a sequel where it's her in that world or something.
I'd love to see a sequel. I don't know how good it would be, but it could be interesting.
For real.
But yeah, so that was, well, we talked about the ending, but what else? I mean, what else stood out? I feel like there's a lot of stuff here.
What's the practical effects, man? Like, geez.
Yeah.
The design of all the creatures, it was just like perfection, and I read somewhere too, like, actually I didn't read it. It was I think it was the movie podcast, and they're talking about Devil's Backbone and how all the creatures, even creatures that were in Blade, he drew all of them, and like he was they were talking more about the Devil's Backbone, but it was like, in order to promote the Devil's Backbone, one of the things he did was he opened up his sketchbook to the public. He would like show it to like at the festivals and stuff like that, which is really cool. And if you think about it, like it takes a very creative mind to create, to bring his drawings to life. He was able to like pull off all these like creatures that he came out of his mind, put them down on paper, and then gave them to people to help him bring it to life. And whether it was like obviously the fairies are definitely CGI, but like the rest of the characters, like the faun, the what's his name, that guy's name,
the Pale Man.
Man.
The big old, really big gigantic bullfrog.
The bullfrog. Yeah, that was an animatronic thing. I was just reading, but the drawings that you mentioned, he had a whole notebook. Guillermo del Toro had a whole notebook, and he lost it in a cab, and he was distraught. Yeah. But the cab driver brought it back 2 days later.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. What?
Well,
what freaks me out?
In his notebook, he has, where they say like, if in case of loss or whatever, like, in case you find
reward.
This reward, his reward I think was something like $800.
I think it's
I think he gave the cab driver even more than that, from what I heard,
and a free ticket to the premiere. No, I don't know if I should.
We won't go that far.
We'll go that
far. I heard he had a hard time like completing the movie, like funding wise. Like he had to like pull money out of his own pocket because nobody wanted to.
Pan's Labyrinth?
Invest in it.
That's interesting.
Wow.
I was gonna say, what I'm a very claustrophobic person, and you always see behind the scenes stuff when they do like the special makeup for creature characters, and they got to sit in a chair for 5 hours, as Doug Jones did for doing the faun and for doing the Pale Man. And you see how like they'll take casts of their face and shit, and they put like straws up their nose. I would freak the fuck out. I would have a panic attack if I had to do that. This guy sat in a chair for 5 hours while they applied all that shit to him. I mean, that's crazy.
You'd have to put me under. You don't have to put me under.
Exactly.
Would you do it for an exuberant amount of money?
It'd have to be an exuberant amount of money.
How much
I'm so claustrophobic, dude. I'm so claustrophobic. I know. Straws out of your nose? No, dude. Yeah, I would freak the fuck out.
Like, an exuberant amount too. Like $400.
Yeah. $400?
Is that a lot? Is that
I'd do it for $400 too.
Arnold, I'll do it for $400 in an 8-ball.
Hey, you guys remember that movie? That movie White Chicks, the Wayans brothers. It was 7 hours of fucking makeup.
That's 7 hours?
Yeah.
For that? That's crazy.
And then the movie,
why didn't they just use a white Michael Myers mask?
That's basically what it was, right? With the blonde wig. 7 hours, 5 hours, any amount of hours to have all that shit applied to. But it's worth it because the effects look fucking great in the end. So Yeah. What else? What else was I reading about this? I mean, yeah, there's so much. There's so much. Why is my voice cracking? I'm going through puberty again.
The bug that turns into a fairy, was that a grasshopper or a locust? What was
I
that?
thought it was like a stick
like
insect.
a
It was one of
mantis.
those stick insects.
I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a locust too. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like a mix between a locust and a mantis.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I don't know the difference. What is the difference?
This is the part where we put like on the video where
Yeah.
we have like a picture of a mantis and a locust.
But
I thought you were gonna put like that,
right
like-
here.
I thing gonna put eyeballs here for
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they could
yeah.
do a spin in front of Arnold's face.
Yeah. I'm gonna digitally insert
That's funny.
bits of meat hanging down behind Arnold.
Use your 4 years of art college.
I was gonna say if it's like because I just feel that like there's a lot of it's not like all the different monsters and characters that were in it was just randomly put in there. I mean, you did say that like a lot of it was inspired by dreams or nightmares that he had. For me,
Yeah.
a lot of like dreams and nightmares I have doesn't really make sense, but then a lot of it is rooted and based on like people, things in my life, and but more than anything, I feel like things that I believe in, like morally, spiritually, just like and so I think I don't know. And with the labyrinth, there's a lot of ties to like spiritual beliefs, and it's roots in like in Christianity, and like if it was a locust, you think of like locusts in the Bible. I don't know. I just
Like a
felt like that there's I don't know if there is more meaning to that, but like
Biblical undertones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet you there is, because that mandrake fruit, that was biblical for sure.
Yeah.
What was that?
The one that the fruit that he put in the bowl of milk.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
never
Back,
knew what
like
that.
back in ancient times, it represented like prosperity and fertility. So that's real. That's from the Bible.
That's so
Interesting.
I never knew
knew
that. I never knew that.
Well, there's also
It's
like
so-
overtones of sacrifice, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you think
Yeah.
about it, like she at the very end, she like says no to the captain. That's like she says no to the faun. Even again after like saying you need to give me the baby, right? She disobeys, and then she's like, no, this is my child. This is my brother. I'm not giving it up. Like I would rather. It was like a sacrifice, making that sacrifice to not enter that kingdom.
It's that resisting authority thing again, right?
Exactly. And then she still ends up having to sacrifice herself to save her brother, and still ends up having to give her brother up to this evil man. But then in her sacrifice, she still is able to like make it into that the world that she's supposed to be the princess in, and then also her brother gets to live in a safer family, right? Because they're winning that little battle, and the sacrifices are never all like perfect, right? But the results are, when you truly believe in like what you are your cause, you actually do still win at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
like because you held on to your core beliefs and like what you felt was right and and honest and good.
It's like
for
she
the
stayed true to
community.
who she was. Yeah, she stayed true to who she was, made her choices, knew what the outcome would be, and then at the end, it still worked out.
And
in her favor.
and her choices also still helped the like were still selfless at the end. Like she was thinking about her community, about her people,
Yeah.
Hey Donald,
That's a
have you
great
always
point.
is that in the behind you? Is that a dream catcher?
Yeah, it's a dream catcher.
Hey,
Nice. You know, we're talking about the themes of fascism in this movie. When I was a kid, I used to watch like old newsreels when you're learning about Nazi Germany in history class. And you used to see all those hundreds of thousands of people at those Nazi rallies. And I used to think, why would they willingly want to be Nazis? Like, it's just, it's so evil. And then now as an adult, I see what's going on in the world. I'm like, oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
people
yeah. Makes
people
sense.
will willingly want to have the boot on their neck, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You brought up the whole Nazi thing, right? Like, and then somebody else brought up Anne Rice
And Frank.
Frank.
what's that?
And
Frank.
Rice.
Anne Rice.
Yeah, Anne Rice.
And Frank. You know, like, so like she's hiding and everything, right? But in the pale man's room, right? There's that pile of shoes, of children's shoes, and it's supposed to be a direct reference to Nazi Germany.
Yeah, I
All
forgot
the
about
children
that.
being exterminated. You know.
Oh shit!
I thought it was like
that makes it even more dark, dude. Sorry, what, Donnie?
That was crazy.
No, I was
Yeah,
like,
she
it's
looks
tribute to Imelda Marcos. Not just joking.
I forgot about the shoes, dude.
Yeah,
That's
Ofelia,
so.
she looks up and sees all the art and like the kids being killed in the art, and then she looks over
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
pile of shoes.
Did you
like,
guys
That's freaky. That's
Ever
freaky.
see Jojo Rabbit?
Yes.
Yep.
No.
Remember
What is
that
that?
scene?
movie.
Remember that scene with the shoes
Oh,
towards
yes.
the end?
Yeah.
Dude, there's something about shoes being used in the creepiest of ways. That's. I need to rewatch that scene with the pale man now because I forgot about the shoes.
That scene was a little bit more sad than creepy for me. It was just like him,
Yeah, becoming an adult is realizing the creepiness or the sadness beyond the creepiness. Noticing the real dark shit. Or it's like those songs that have like a great beat that's like happy and jovial, but then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh shit, this song's about some fucked up shit, bro. I won't even name examples, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, a good example of that is that Tears for Fears song, right?
No,
Shout?
how does that one go?
Shout,
Shout.
It's about scream therapy.
Oh,
About like really, I don't look it up. It's a really interesting song. Like,
that's not the
but
one that
people,
goes,
like,
you
really-
make me want to shout. Come on now, shout.
No,
that's not that one. Right? Oh, okay.
No,
That's the whole.
this is the
That's
80s.
the Beach Boys.
Watch, I'm gonna look it up, and that one's about the Holocaust or something too, or something crazy like that. Oh man,
What about scream therapy, huh?
Well, that's a real thing, right, Alex? Scream therapy.
Yeah.
I've heard about
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
What do? You go in a room and you just fucking let it out.
let it
right?
out.
It's like induced sort of like therapy, like letting out childhood traumas.
Yeah.
But I can't. Look it up. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but I just thought that was a interesting parallel.
Yeah.
You ever do that into a
That's
pillow?
exactly what it is. Yeah.
As a
You got
kid,
it,
I did
Alex.
Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold, you told me what that's like, Arnold.
Yeah, I mean you can scream as loud as you want, like people next door won't even hear.
All right, I don't know what that
put
was,
myself
but
on,
going back to the movie, I was reading that Del Toro refused offers from Hollywood producers to do the movie in English, even though they offered him way more money, because he didn't want to compromise the vision that he had for market needs. So total respect for that. He could have easily taken the cash and done it in English, and it would have been probably not as good, actually, now that I think about it. Like, can you imagine Parasite in English? It wouldn't be the same.
Or the
You guys
faun
have
in
seen
English.
Yeah.
The faun. Actually, I could imagine the faun in English because didn't
Like,
you say
for
he
your
was
first test? I don't know. All right, guys. Well, hey, this has been a good little rehash of this movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I rewatched just the ending tonight, and yeah, good stuff. Let's go around and do some final thoughts if that works for you guys. Justin, let's start with you really quick. What are your final thoughts, and where can people find you?
Yeah, final thoughts. I love this movie. I always say that Pan's Labyrinth is probably the movie to watch if you want to get into Guillermo del Toro. And obviously go watch like Devil's Backbone if you want more of the horror side of things. And Crimson Peak is pretty good. Not gonna lie, it took me a couple of watches to kind of get into it. It is a little bit of a slow burn of a movie, but like it has a good story behind that. And it also has a really awesome star-studded cast in that one too. Um, Guillermo del Toro, I love his style. I love his work. I feel like he's a master at his craft, and he hasn't had too many films under his belt. And I don't know, I'd put him up there with some of the more prestigious directors out there. Um, Honestly, there was actually one thing I kind of sort of wanted to talk about really quick, and uh, kind of like a director swap almost. You know what would have been a really cool thing to have seen if instead of Peter Jackson, if Guillermo del Toro directed and had his art style for Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that would have been like Lord of the Rings is already a pretty perfect movie for me. I feel like having like Guillermo's flair to it would have been a whole other level of epic. So
that would be kind of sick to see, actually.
yeah. Anyway,
that's
a
imagine the
fever dream.
orcs and stuff.
Yeah, imagine. I think Guillermo del Toro would have killed that movie for sure with his rendition of it. But anyway, yeah, I don't think there's been like a single Guillermo del Toro movie that I couldn't recognize off the bat. You know, anytime I see his name as a director, maybe not so much executive producer. If I see his name attached to the movie, I know I'm going to have an awesome time regardless of what it is. Most notably, I want to say his shot at stop motion directing for Pinocchio, fantastic. Honestly, the funny thing is that Disney and Guillermo del Toro kind of sort of released they released their Pinocchio movies like back to back, sort of.
Yeah.
And I feel like his movie is far, far, far superior compared to that garbage that Disney released.
I haven't seen either of them, but the Disney one looked fucking I don't know, ridiculous. You know?
It was Disney's cash in attempt with Tom Hanks again for some reason. I don't know what Disney's infatuation with Tom Hanks is, but yeah, I feel like he needs to not be in Disney movies anymore.
He's getting that bag, man. He's getting that bag.
He's good at non-Disney movies.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. Solely, I guess. Anyway, yeah, Pinocchio. If you ever get a chance, watch it on Netflix. It's a fantastic film. His rendition of the classic fairy tale, one that isn't muddied by Disney. So, good stuff. Pan's Labyrinth is a great story, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. The movie is relatively straightforward, even with the captions. I feel like it's easy to digest, easy to get lost in, and very fantastical and mesmerizing. And every time I like put this movie on, I never am like, man, I'm not going to watch this movie again for 5-10 years. but every time, like, if I hear that someone hasn't seen this movie before, I'll be like, I want to watch it with you. That's the type of movie it is to me. It's like, I will watch it again. Yeah, I may know the outcome every single time, but it's just such an awesome movie to get lost in for a moment in time, 2 hours in particular. Anyway, my rating for Letterboxd is going to be 5 out of 5. Wonderful movie. You can find me on social medias. Shibs the Zombie, SHIBBS the Zombie. Just follow the links and you'll find the things.
Nice. Thanks for that, Justin. Alex, let's go to you next. What are your final thoughts? Where can people find you? And of course, as always, what are you working on?
So I have one of my things that I wanted to bring up was the scene where Captain Vidal is shaving, and then he takes his blade and he's like runs the blade across the mirror across his reflection's throat, and it kind of is kind of telling about the person, his traumas, like the reasons why he is who he is. Um, his just a lot of self-loathing, a lot of just like the whole story behind the watch, right? Where it's like his father, you know, I'm not very clear. Again, I need to watch it by like it kind of makes sense, or like the watch broke and it stays at that same time. And he like you see him also. That's another thing, kind of telling that like he's like trying to fix the watch to make it work again, but it never works. And it's like this sort of resentment towards his father, and then at the very end, like when he tells him the time, like it tells him, "I want you to know the time." Is it like you're my son to know the time, like when he dies and stuff like that. And they again, once again, disobedience. They what's the lady's name? Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Mercedes. She goes, like cuts him off, says no, and then they shoot him in the face. And I was like, that's so cool because like he's like, you again breaking that cycle of like generational trauma and things like that. I always bring up like that sort of like emotional side and like the psychological side of like things like that. Sorry, but it just kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, that's good.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense that whole like sort of it's like that whole thing. There's a lot of foreshadowing for like who like this guy is, and it just reveals more and more and more in his actions after
You,
the foreshadowing. You know?
I want to like interject real quick, Alex. So there is a lot of foreshadowing, but and I feel like it plays into like the disobedience thing as well. But a lot of the foreshadowing, a lot of it doesn't even like happen most of the time. Like, yeah, like when because like when I first watched the movie, like he slit his throat in the mirror, I was like, oh, that's foreshadowing of him getting his throat slit. But then he doesn't die that way. He gets his mouth
Yeah.
slit.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
it's not really like literal though. You know what I mean? Like it's more it's like foreshadowing of not like how he dies, but foreshadowing of the story revealing who he really is. Like the self-loathing, like that's kind of like a thing, and that kind of tells you a little bit more of who he is. Like he's not a good not a good person. It kind of like is. I don't want to say they're trying to like make him. I guess it kind of humanizes him in a sense, and I think if you like in a way like when you humanize a person, you get why there they are, but it doesn't excuse who they are. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, like it's that when I mean by foreshadowing, that's what I kind of mean. You know?
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I mean, it's definitely setting him up to be like just the evilness that he is and represents. I guess
Yeah. Like it connects us to like the evil that we've experienced in our own lives. In the sense that like um, we've we've been we've come across people like that, and it's just kind of like this reminder of um, in like the human condition in general. Like we have our own like battles, and like a lot of times they don't get resolved. Like, and they have consequences, right? So, and the consequence that Captain Vidal had to pay because he didn't resolve his, his traumas. He kind of like, well, you got shot in the face, So
Well, but didn't you say isn't it Mercedes that slashes him in the face before she escapes from him, right? So there's definitely something there,
that's true.
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Like he slashes like hit him in the back and then in the chest. Oh yeah, and then in the mouth too. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I guess
just-
in a sense it is slight. Like I just thought of the Joker when I saw that
Yeah.
happen.
They start sewing
I
it.
don't know. I
Oh.
got these scars.
Were you guys like this, like watching it, like, you know? I
It's
wasn't.
funny. Like
I
feel
was
like
watching like this.
I watched Serbian film. I'm unfazed.
I mean,
I watched it twice.
I'm honestly like in the same boat as Justin. I don't know. Like I think we've talked about this before. Like horror slasher stuff they don't really affect me. Like it's a lot of the paranormal stuff that like really freaks me out. Like Poltergeist and
Yeah,
The Exorcist.
same here.
I'm a jaw dropper, and I'll be like, oh, like that just happened. Like when I would watch like Hereditary or Midsummer for the first time, and then the scene where they're jumping off the cliff in Midsummer, I'm like, but did I turn away? No, I'm just like, well, that was unexpected and pretty fucking brutal,
The piano wire scene in Hereditary that fucked me up.
Oh, those penises, man.
Yeah, the penis wire.
But yeah.
I mean the piano wire.
Overall,
The pianist.
Any exorcism movie fucks me up. Like all exorcist movies.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the one thing I did want to bring up. But overall, fantastic movie. It's like completely become one of my top favorites. I really loved. I love Guillermo del Toro. It's funny. I haven't seen too many of his films, to be quite honest. Like I've seen The Shape of Water. I've seen Pacific Rim.
Shape of Water is good.
Yeah, I love Pacific Rim because like I love kaiju, and it was like right up my alley. And like I remember we went to the panel for that, and he was like talking about how this was his love letter to kaiju. And
who's kaiju?
like this kaiju, Godzilla, like giant monster movies.
Correct.
It's old college roommate.
It's not just one of the hot dog selections over at Sumo Dog.
No,
it's a pizza. It's a pizza shop in San Diego.
What do they call those now?
I know.
Bleezies.
Yeah.
Glizzies.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can't keep up with all the new age slang.
Yeah, you skibbity toilet.
Skibbity. Oh God, my kid.
Boo-boo.
Oh, he's obsessed.
La boo boo.
But yeah, my rating for this is 4.5 out of 5.
How many Labubu's do you give it?
How many Labubus? I give it 1 because I only own one.
Dude, you own
where
a
can people
Labubu?
find you?
Oh yeah, you were there with me when I bought it from Pop Mart at Comic-Con last year.
No, I left you, dude. I walked away. No, just kidding. I didn't even know you bought it. I had no clue you bought that.
Oh really?
I didn't know that was I didn't know that was a thing, dude.
Yeah, like right around after that, I think Pop Mart just blew up.
They just opened a new one in Caesar's Palace, and the line was ridiculous.
Jeez, I got over it, like when they opened the one out here. I got over it like super fast. It's like, oh,
that has to be some kind of recession indicator, When the economy's bad, people want to buy these tiny little small shits, and they'll sit in line for hours, stand in line for hours.
That's wild.
I don't know.
Well, they were giving like them for free, right? I'm sure like every grand opening they give out like freebies.
Do you get a free glizzy with
that's
it?
what it is.
Yeah, they should. They have a glizzy Labubu.
Alex, did you give your socials? Sorry.
Well, not yet. You can find me at Daily Dares on Instagram and most of my social media, and then You can go on my bio, find the link there, and find all the projects I'm involved in, including Collectible Galaxy on Depop.
Nice. Well, thanks for that, Alex. Donnie, let's go to you next. Since you picked this movie, what are your final thoughts? Where can people find you?
Man, I love this movie. I liked it before for a different reason. Rewatched it, understanding it more as being older. I still love it. I like it even more. It kind of made me like go into it a little more and do some research about like how much prep Guillermo del Toro did to create the movie. Like I would really like to see that notebook that he lost and what was in there, because I heard it was like years worth of material that he put together while he was building this film and putting it together. So,
Well, he has it. He has it.
He actually has a museum
oh
that
shit!
you can
No way.
visit. Yeah,
Where?
Where is it?
I forget where it's at. We'll have to do our research. With
I'm
our
looking it
research
up right
team,
after this. I'm definitely going.
Let's
That,
go.
that would be
Has a
so
museum.
cool.
Into it.
Yeah.
Like Alex, I haven't watched many of his movies, but everything that I have watched with him, I love. And this is definitely one of my top movies. I also liked his little series. It was a little different. I forgot what it's called, like Cabinet of Curiosities or something like that.
Cabinet of Curiosities, and he also did the short story, the scary short stories series as well.
Ooh, I
It's
haven't
at the
seen that. I haven't
LACMA.
seen that.
So,
LACMA.
yeah, at the LA County Museum of Art. So,
Oh, it's in LA. Shit, dude.
yeah, there you
That's
guys
so
go.
close.
Yeah, you're not that
Yeah,
far.
I'm definitely gonna go to that. Yeah.
The four of you should go. You're all in California. Well, I mean, you're close to California, or you're in California. So there you go.
Yeah. Man.
I remember they had the Stanley Kubrick exhibit. That was great at the LACMA. I love
Oh,
that.
that sounds cool too.
Yeah, that was a good traveling. Sorry, Donnie, but what else were you gonna say?
Oh no, I loved the way it was written. I loved the way it was shot. I love the score. Like seconds into the movie, like the music, I loved it. Like that kind of drew me in. And then they played again in the ending credits. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I really like it. And I like the way it was shot, like how the lullaby. Yeah, I like how he transitions into like reality to fantasy, and like how he does like the panning shots, and then he just like switches over like seamlessly. I like that too. I thought that was really cool. I think the one part that kind of like made me turn away was the part where she slashes his mouth, like his lip or his, and then he's like trying to stitch it together. I was like, oh dude, that looks nasty. But they did a really good job with like the makeup and like how it looks so real. So he's all drinking alcohol and you can see it like coming through as it's thinning his blood.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that that's actually how wide his mouth is?
That's really the
They
width of
just
his
put
mouth.
prosthetics right here to close it a little bit more.
Really?
Kidding, Arnold.
Gotcha.
I know.
Man, but yes, rating for me would be a 5 out of 5 for sure. You can find me on Instagram _Donnie Appleseed. I also have a photography page if anybody wants to check it out. It's 12.5 photography, also on Instagram, all one word.
205 photography. Nice.
12.5.
12 of 5.
12.5.
12.5. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm bad of hearing. All right, Arnold, we're down to you, pal. What do you got for us?
Okay, yeah. Okay, while I remember, there was a few funny things that came to mind when I was watching this, and I just wanted to bring it up. Do you guys watch the Chappelle Show?
Oh yeah.
Okay. What made me think of
Who's
it?
that?
Dave Chappelle. You don't know Dave Chappelle? We watched it together. Anyways, so
He's joshing you.
so you know how the faun was telling Ofelia, okay, you gotta do this, you gotta do it. All right, yeah, go into that tree with the bullfrog, and then you follow this book, and you gotta put all these stones in its mouth, and then take this plant and put it in a bowl of milk and put it underneath the bed. It made me think of the episode of Dave Chappelle when he was acting as P. Diddy for the show. What was that show that making the
hip hop, making the band.
Making the band, and then
God,
he was telling them, he's like, you gotta go to the city, fill up these 2 bottles of breast milk from a Cambodian lady, and then they kept on doing all these different things. They would come back holding a big bunch of balloons, And it was just like it made me think of that a little bit, because the faun was making her do all these different.
Breast milk, you made my day.
I don't even know that IP, and I'm laughing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how my mind works. Made me think of that. There, maybe it was a coping mechanism or something. You know, after one of the parts, I'm like, oh man, you know, after Mercedes cuts his cheek open. Oh gosh. But yeah, but really really good movie. Did Guillermo del Toro, did he do Fear and Loathing?
No, you're thinking
No.
of Benicio del Toro, I think.
Oh,
Yeah. You're
did he
thinking
But
do?
that's a good movie too. But
That
that's
is a
a
good
really
movie.
good movie as well.
What does he say? We're in backcountry.
What about, did he do Sicario?
No,
Maybe-
that
maybe
was
I'm-
also no.
Benicio del Toro.
No, it wasn't Benicio del Toro,
Oh.
but Sicario was. Who was that guy?
I'm getting them really mixed up, but
You are. I think there was a Del Toro in it, so I think you're confusing all your Del Toros tonight.
I did capture the picture of Guillermo del Toro when I worked the first time I worked at the Saturn Awards. They were like
really?
they had me go, and I had to work with his security because he went through like a special entrance, and so I had to make sure that they can come through. And then this is as close as I got to him at the dinner.
You
Wait,
were right behind
hold it
him.
still.
but,
Where is he?
I
Was
was
that him in the
I was
chair?
this close. I was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
stalking him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him in the chair.
Yeah.
But
I see. Yeah.
he didn't. Yeah, he had his face turned the other way. But that's him.
Did you touch his ear?
No, but I smelled his.
Like so he's
What?
Smelled his chest.
No, I didn't smell anything.
Oh.
You just said you smelled something.
You're lucky that got cut off.
I caught somebody smelling his chair.
What?
Oh.
There was a lot of super fans there.
Oh.
I bet. Were you one of them?
No, yeah. I was
He
like,
just told on
I
himself.
love you in Fear and Loathing, and then people were like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, right? No,
Oh
but
my god.
that actually didn't happen. Really good movie. I'm glad
you
that
didn't say that to him, or you didn't smell his chair.
I didn't even get to talk to him. I talked to his two security
You
guards.
talked to his chair.
After they removed you from smelling his chair, they're like, don't ever do that again.
I'm all professional.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's why they had me work with his security.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I have 48 hours for this movie because I'm gonna watch this with Carla, and I'm glad that we had this conversation with you guys, which reminds me that I need to take my enzymes after eating that habit meal.
Oh yeah.
Because there's, I mean, it was just like so fresh, and you know, I have like good feelings and you know, after you see a good movie.
Yeah.
And I really hadn't had a chance to like to think about it, think it through, but I'd love to watch it again. Definitely has a high rewatch ability. Zero Z's. And it was I ate an entire bag of popcorn during the whole movie. Yeah, but my overall score, I give it a 4.
Perfect.
A solid 4. And you
That's
can
a perfect
find me on all the socials at Arnie Callego. You see me posting stuff about Never Seen It, maybe about some food, some cooking I'm doing for some clients.
Some
Maybe some,
chairs that you've smelled.
And I'll keep that
Security.
I don't even take pictures of that. I mean,
Hide your chairs, hide your
Why would
wives.
you? They sniffing everybody out of here.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it, Arnold, because I knew it was like you're the only one who didn't watch it, so I was wondering when you were gonna.
Some of my friends at work, they kind of keep up with like, what are we going to be doing next, and they're like asking me like, what movies are you going to be watching? And when I was like, okay, I told them some of the movies that we're doing. Actually, I told they looked through the whole list, and then they're like, oh, I can't wait till you do Pan's Labyrinth. That's like one of my favorite movies. And so shouts to them, shouts to Daniela.
Hell yeah.
And they all listen to the show as well. And yeah, really super good movie.
Cool, man.
Well, thank you for that, Arnold, and I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate the zingers, the callbacks.
We've
His
got
thoughts
they
like
did Justin.
Alexis, Texas.
Oh yeah, definitely shouts to Alexis, Texas. I don't know why. Nothing related to the show or the movie that we did, but just shouts to her.
A shout out. Just a shout out.
I DM'd you, girl. Oh. I mean,
I thought you didn't do that kind of stuff.
I don't. I don't.
There's a guy on TikTok that reviews adult stars the same way people talk about sports and teams and shit. Arnold, I think you would love that account. He's like the number one gooner on the internet. I'll have to send you his account. But he talks about like Angela White, like she's LeBron James or something. It's hilarious. And I don't even know sports.
I don't even know who Angela White is.
You'll find out.
Brown hair, right? I mean, I don't even.
So I've heard. I wouldn't know either.
So we've done Justin, we've done Alex, done Donald, me. Now, none but no one else.
Now we end the show. Bye,
now we end the show.
Adios.
What's too big, Adrian?
By the way, Sicario was directed by Denis Villeneuve, who did Dune, and it also stars Guillermo del Toro. So there you go.
Oh, there you go. That's where you got it.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah, lots of Del Toros.
Guillermo del Toro.
Or Benicio del Toro, sorry. And I'm doing it too. See, Arnold? It's got like a secondhand effect. But Guillermo del Toro has done a fair bit of acting himself, including as Pappy McPoyle in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is the most random, greatest cameo on that show ever. So,
can I also say honorable mentions? He also has an acting spot in the video game Death Stranding, featuring Norman Reedus and a bunch of other actors, and they're coming out with Death Stranding 2. He also is known for working with Hideo Kojima on what was going to be Silent Hills, but it is now a defunct game and concept. Yeah, damn. Guillermo del Toro was writing the story, and Hideo Kojima was making the game. Yeah,
he's a busy man. He's a busy artiste. No, my thoughts on the movie are pretty straightforward, though. You know, it's a great movie. I don't really. And don't get into like dark fantasy stuff really ever, but this is definitely probably my favorite dark fantasy type movie that I've ever seen. I love the production design. I love the cinematography. You know, this movie came out in 2006. You could kind of tell that there was still that kind of holdover way of shooting things from like the 90s into the 2000s. But Guillermo del Toro was like still a master at doing things his way and his style. So. That's why I think he really is like a grown-up's version of what's his name? Can't even
Tim-Burton.
Tim-Burton. Thank you for the assist. But yeah, good movie. It's all. I already rated it on Letterboxd. It's 4 out of 5 for me. You know what? I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Let's give it a little upgrade just because we've talked more in depth about it tonight. But that's pretty much it for me. You know, it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. I think it does also have. You're right, Arnold. A high rewatchability score. You know, you could watch this movie and always pick up on new things and just enjoy it overall. So yeah, that's it for me. You know, hey, you can follow the show. Never Seen It Podcast, neverseenitpodcast.com. We're everywhere. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Twitter. We're on X. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. I personally manage the account. So for the love of God, go see the stuff we're putting on there now. Little bits and pieces from the show. The city of Gilroy, California, keeps having an honorable mention on our shows. We should do a live show from there one time.
We should just invite Alexis,
mayor.
Texas, to a live recording of our podcast in Gilroy.
And it wouldn't be even be the first time you try to get an adult actress on a show. But not because we're perverts.
Callbacks.
Because let me be clear, we are connoisseurs of. You know what?
No, she has a really great. She has a really great podcast herself called.
Does she really?
Private Talk with Texas. It's
Oh,
really
interesting.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
What is the subject matter? You keep on bringing up this show. What is that subject matter?
They talk about taxes and financial reform.
Death and taxes. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, she talks about a lot of about the business side of it, and then just weaves in a lot of just.
She does the weave too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Does she do the roller coaster?
No, but we got. That's why we got. That's what'll attract you
Does
to
she
the
do
show.
the shovel?
Yeah.
The shovel.
The shovel.
Yeah.
See, that's a callback. But yeah, follow the show. Hey, follow Kyle Mapson, right? Kyle Mapson, selfies_food_and_pets on Instagram. Follow him on YouTube. He does the intro and outro music for the show, which is fantastic. And yeah, I mean, just leave us a like, leave us a review. It really helps the show out, guys, seriously. And, if there's any movies that you want to suggest, we're always open to doing anything to watch. As you've seen, clearly, we're open to watching all kinds of different movies. We run the gamut from classic gangster flicks to sci-fi to whatever the hell Serbian film was, right? So, Lawnmower Man. I keep bringing that up because that's the weirdest fucking movie we've ever watched on the show.
Don't forget, we're also on YouTube Music now.
Yeah. If for those of you that used to listen to podcasts on the Google Podcast app, which is now defunct, you can find us on the YouTube Music app under podcast. There's other, as I said in the beginning of every show, there are other podcasts called Never Seen It, but look out for us. It's big bold letters. You can't miss it. Never Seen It. So that's all I have. Any final words from the gentleman?
I just wanted to bring up, I forgot to mention earlier, we talked a lot about like how good the film looked and all that stuff, but I forgot to mention that Del Toro was in makeup for like over a decade, so no wonder he has like attention to detail like that.
Oh,
so,
really?
Keep that in mind.
I didn't know.
All his monsters look amazing.
That's so interesting.
That's
it. Thank you.
How about a question of the day?
What would that be?
You have one?
What do you want us to watch next?
What do I want you to watch next? I want to do Zola. That's such a good movie. It's such a fun, tight little movie.
Zola. Wait, what movie?
Zola. Remember I mentioned it when we did
Zola.
Anora.
We did Anora. That would be a good. We got to do more companion movies. Like Shape of Water would be a great companion movie to this, since we're on a Del Toro kick.
Oh.
Oddly enough, when I was watching this movie, I immediately thought of Overlord, which was a pretty good movie that came out in 2018 about Nazi Germany.
Oh,
yeah.
Look that up.
Maybe one of those.
All right.